And it keeps on coming because now Jericho's music hits. And he comes to the ring and we go to the break. I guess they thought, oh, Chris Jericho's coming to the ring. Let's see what's going to happen. Well, when we come back, Pretty Peter Avalon. He's not very pretty, but he does look like a Peter. He's in the ring. Last week, he came out as a comedy spot and got knocked goofy and out cold with one Judas elbow. So now they book a match between Jericho and a Giant. So, there's a Jericho's book to get TV time. And he thinks because he sold for this fucking clown through the first 2 minutes of this 3-minute match that somehow that he's made this guy look like something before he beat him or whatever. Well, he doesn't think that. He's made people believe that. He actually got himself 10 minutes of television time to work with a job guy and indulge his Jericho appreciators to beat up somebody else that, stands a chance of getting over. Well, so that's what happened. And the match starts. Avalon didn't even get a fucking entrance. And he opens with a flurry of fake children's punches that come nowhere near Chris Jericho. Did you see that?
I saw what he was trying to do, yes.
And then he can do a chop. He hit Jericho with some chops. Jericho bailed out to the floor, so Pretty Peter did a dive. He can dive, but he can't punch. And to the floor. And here's the thing. Chris Jericho is selling for this clown. If you were going to do something like this, and I can tell you why they didn't do it before I even say this, because it wouldn't benefit Chris Jericho in total. It would benefit someone else. But you could have had somebody actually legitimate come out and try to answer the challenge last week and have Jericho wipe them out from behind and then make the match. And then people might have wanted to see it. But it was a clown spot with a job guy that's never used, never featured. If he does win, it's on YouTube somewhere. And who gives a fuck because he looks like a goddamn used condom. And you've got Chris Jericho, a former WWE champion, out there selling for this fucking guy just so he can scratch up a few minutes of TV time to get his angle in. But meanwhile, Avalon, again, could use a Cheerio for a hula hoop. He could tread water in a garden hose. If he gets sunburned, he looks like a thermometer. Turn sideways, stick his tongue out, he looks like a zipper. Needs to run around in the shower to get wet. He's so skinny, without his belt, his upper body would fall through his asshole. I could go on. But so did this match. And he was getting 2 counts on Jericho and making funny faces. And then finally Jericho hits the code breaker, 1, 2, 3, and pins him. And then gets a baseball bat. And then, Brian, anytime you hit somebody with a baseball bat, the way you want to do it is grab one end by the handle end in your right hand, and you want to cup the end of the baseball bat with your left hand. And you want to hit the guy on the point of the top of his head with it. Now, I used to do that sometimes with a tennis racket, if you want to get juice on somebody. But with a baseball bat in your hand, I believe you either need to just swing or don't use the fucking bat. Because what this did was go straight over the top of Avalon's head. It was obvious at regular speed, but in slow-mo, it was mind-blowing how far away the bat was from Pretty Peter's head, and Pretty Peter takes a huge bump. And referee Aubrey Edwards basically bails right after the 3 counts, so the guy's in the ring beating the other guy up, allegedly with the baseball bat. She's out there going, nay, don't do that. Nay, don't do that. And so then Jericho hits Pretty Peter 4 more times with the bat. And each one of them looked obviously fake because he's hitting him as he's laying there. He hits him on the arm. So then Avalon raises the arm that just got hit with a baseball bat to beg, don't hit me again. Oh, my God. So then the music plays, Here Comes Ricky Starks. And this was what Jericho wanted all along when he pitched this thing, besides being indulgent with himself, was Jericho starts cutting a promo on Starks. Just because the Jericho appreciators aren't allowed Sunday doesn't mean they're not here tonight. And then, of course, Hager and Garcia jump fucking Starks, and they hold Starks so that Jericho gets the bat and then drops the bat to run over and hit fucking Starks with his Judas elbow that sometimes he hits, sometimes he doesn't. I guess he wanted to prove he could do it. So he dropped the bat to hit him with the elbow. Nobody came out and helped. A couple of referees came out and started pointing, and the heels left with their music when they were tired of committing crimes. Did I encapsulate that segment approximately correctly?
I think so. I mean, when we said, look at what he's doing to Ricky Starks, the Jericho defenders would say, he's elevating Ricky Starks, and look at also what he's doing for Action Andretti. Here we are a couple months later. Has anyone come out of this for the better? You know, a lot of people, I think, misinterpret my thoughts about Jericho. I don't think, he's someone I never want to see on my TV. He's useless. I only feel that about him acting out his own scripts. I think Chris Jericho has star power. I think Chris Jericho, when motivated, does great stuff. I think Chris Jericho is filled with horrible ideas. And the problem is, he's been allowed to run wild with all of his ideas. There are lots of people who were big stars in wrestling history who creatively couldn't cut it. It's not that they didn't have any ideas. They had some ideas. It's just they weren't
Lots
good.
of ideas.
It's just they weren't good.
Well, some are good and some are bad, and they don't know which are which.
This is exactly, I don't know what to say anymore. This is exactly what we said was going to happen when he started working with Ricky Starks. Starks would mean less. It would be endless. For no good reason, it would be endless. And then we get stuff like this. The Action Andretti thing, which went nowhere. The guy hasn't even been on this show in weeks until he was in this ladder match where he almost broke his leg, it looked like, when he fell off the ladder onto another ladder. So, what is...
No, he didn't fall. He was pushed.
What is Jericho doing? Seriously, where's the value right now?